Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the Liberty Report. Happy Thanksgiving Day. With us today is Daniel McAdams, our co-host. Happy Thanksgiving Day, Daniel.
Happy Thanksgiving, Dr. Paul. How are you doing? And what do you have planned today?
We don't have to go to school. We get this day off
All
today.
right.
Well, we have a lot planned. If Carol were here, most people know who Carol is, she would tell you how many people are coming, the family's coming, and she would tell you there's 51 people are going to show up.
Oh, my gosh.
And that will be exciting. I'll tell you that. And matter of fact, they started streaming in, and they'll be there for the whole day. And the brothers and the cousins will get together, and it's usually a really nice time. But then again, there'll be another one not too long from now, and I think at Christmas time we may even have more people. But that's why we had a big family, because we wanted to enjoy them. But the function will be very good, but when they get together, when our kids get together, there's a lot of sporting activity, yard sports and little things. But this year, in this past week, there was something that happened that directed the attention to something that they were participating in. They talk about sports and football and all that. I can't keep up with all that. I only look at the special plays, at the end.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, the real big rivalry in our house in sports participation is Rand versus Ronnie.
Uh-oh.
And it's in golf.
Uh-oh.
And it's been going on a long time. And they're both pretty darn good, and I don't think one wins all the time. But a week or so ago, we had a call from Randy. He was really excited. You'd think maybe some big news on Dr. Fauci.
Yeah.
Well, the big news was, Dad, I had a hole-in-one. Ecstatic over this. And before I knew it, of course, he called his older brother, Ronnie, and Ronnie didn't get that excited. He probably went like this, because how am I going to answer? There's a hole-in-one. But the strangest thing happened. We talked and kidded all about it. But a week later, Ronnie had a hole-in-one, and I've of course kidded my oldest son. I said, Ronnie, I don't believe that. I think this is fake news. How could he have, and a week later you have it, just because you're a competitor? So that was very interesting. But Ronnie figured out his was better because it was 15 yards further than his was. So that will go on, and they will play golf whenever they get the chance, and it usually is a very happy time for us, and a time to reflect on our blessings, and it's a very nice time for us.
Yeah, maybe we should take up some bets on which one is going to get the second hole-in-one.
Yeah.
We get some odds going here, make a little money. Well, mine is not going to be as exciting as yours, but we do have some really good friends coming over. I'm going to try to smoke a turkey again. I've had some success, so it's always a wonderful time. But for some people, Dr. Paul, nothing can escape politics. What kind of shoes you wear, your clothes, everything is steeped in politics. Thanksgiving, we've done a show on Thanksgiving before several times. It's such an innocent holiday, but of course, ruined by a lot of people who want to politicize it. And one, I'm thinking of a lot of the wokes who want to cancel everything they don't like, and even kind of some of the stuff they do like. And there's plenty of examples, but I saw something earlier in the week that I just thought was as nutty as you can imagine. And of course, it was on MSNBC, a station that nobody watches. I don't know how they pay for this stuff, but they had this guy on, Jossie Ross, and he was going to give a little talk about Thanksgiving. And he said, he blamed the Pilgrims for white supremacy. He said, quote, instead of bringing stuffing and biscuits, those settlers brought genocide and violence. That genocide and violence is still on the menu. And then he went on to say, state-sponsored violence against Native and Black Americans is still commonplace, and violent, white supremacy is celebrated and subsidized. So here's a guy who's just dropping a big bomb on the turkey with some ridiculous, insane, woke nonsense.
I think yesterday or the day before in the program, I was making a point. I says, for those people, everything is race.
Yeah.
Everything is race going on. And I would say this is another example of it. You take Thanksgiving holiday and they've turned it into just a racial conflict. But you know, this year it's a little bit different because there are some economic factors that are brought to light, and it's supposed to be one of the most expensive day, you know, buying food and this sort of thing, because inflation is alive and well. And we can't be thankful that the government has prevented it from getting worse. We should be cautious and realize that the government does this, spending money and printing money and all that nonsense we talk about. But it is going to be an expensive holiday, which means that the people who are living on the margin, you know, might not even have dinner. But, you know, traditionally over the many years, there's always been, you know, a lot of generosity. And I think the statistics have shown over my lifetime, you'd see the amount that American people, even those who are middle class or poor, are generous, and they will help people. And I think they really have that spirit in Thanksgiving and Christmas, and donate and help other people. But this year's a little bit different, and the question keeps popping up in my mind, and you alluded to the answer, and that is, why would anybody want to cancel it and make it for, and of course your answer sounded like a political motivation to do that, to make some point that nobody's thinking enough about. They're not thinking, well, I didn't know Thanksgiving was a racist problem, you know.
Well, were there problems in the 17th century? Yeah, probably they were. They weren't as enlightened as we are today. It's kind of funny, though. The left seems to love immigration, except when it was the Pilgrims, right? No, they want to build a wall when it comes to that. But it is sad. You know, there was 50,000 signatures on a petition telling the Wall Street Journal, don't run any nice editorials about Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving Day. We're sick of it. We're tired of it. And the petition itself said it's time to stop publicizing 17th century racism. Again, it's just revisionism. It's a real shame. I prefer the innocence of just sitting down and being thankful for what we have. Is it perfect? No. But thankful for what we have and hopeful for the future.
See, and it's not easy to escape it. Most people, I'm sure, in this country are not going to wear their mask, even when they've been told by their officials that you even have to wear your mask inside the house, like they're doing in Santa Cruz, you know, or you do this, you could get in trouble. We're going to have inspectors. Because I think there's more resistance now than ever before, and I'm thankful for that, because they're moving in the right direction, and I think people should resist. I believe in nonviolent civil disobedience. When you're brave enough and understand what's going on, and you've made your own commitment, as long as there's nonviolence, you know, that people should, and there'll be more of that. But these regulations are a real nuisance, and they've interfered, and the excessive regulations are related to the inflation and the extra spending. Think of how much money has been spent here in the last 2 years. That they say, well, why do we have this inflation? Well, I think it's $7 or $8 trillion of new money they've created, and it's the creation of money. And when it's distributed, they're shocked. Why are we paying so much? Why don't we regulate more people? Well, maybe it's because the value of the money went down. So someday I'm going to be grateful to say, you know what? We just got rid of the Federal Reserve, but not this year. We haven't got rid of the Federal Reserve, but more people are talking about it than they ever have before. Most of the people have just totally ignored it.
Yeah, well, I do want to thank everyone for watching the show, taking a little bit of time out from your Thanksgiving. Looking forward to eating a bunch of turkey, probably passing out and going to sleep afterwards.
Very good, and I too want to thank everybody for tuning in and wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Please come back to the Liberty Report soon.